No, well, addiction diaries, I suppose. Been trying to come off of kratom and kava, strangely, because who would have thought you could just go to the store, just get a drink that fucks with your dopamine system so bad. So today's day one. So I've been tapering for a week, a little, just a little. It's really hard to be disciplined in my own home environment. But day one of vacation, tapering, and it's the most uncomfortable, the most discomfort I've ever felt. So I suppose that's all the reason not to end up in such a position, but pretty grateful I'll get out now, because it only gets exponentially worse after this. But as far as checking in with feelings, pain, weakness, coldness, hotness, so just poor temperature regulation. I've lost about 25 pounds. About 25 pounds, yeah. Lost about 25 pounds. Stopped eating early. It's been months now, months. And so now is being reliant on that stuff. So now is when you come to pay the piper for spending that much time caught up. And you always hope that that can at least play a factor in the future as far as one's willingness to put themselves in that position again. But as many of you know, it doesn't feel really like you have much of a choice sometimes. And that argument is so funny. I would love to talk to any non-addict anytime I explain things well, so I would give anything to have that kind of a conversation, the disease model conversation. But yeah, this is day one. And akathisia is another symptom. If you're familiar, common with benzodiazepines. Akathisia is the best I could describe it, is the way that let's see, if you've ever had restless leg syndrome, and it is so concerning that it's almost like it feels like your leg isn't a part of your body. So it's just doing its own thing, and almost like you can feel electricity firing, like, hey, I might want to move. I'll do this. I'll do that. And it's not even talking to your brain. Your brain's like, or it feels that way. It feels like I'm not talking to your brain. And you're like, that's horrible. What a horrible feeling for the leg to decide that it wants to just move on its own. So I haven't looked up the definition of akathisia, but I know it to be described as such, and it's that feeling everywhere. It's that feeling everywhere. So if you've ever had restless leg syndrome that kept you from sleeping, sometimes there's a part of that night that feels like panic, and well, you could imagine that if your whole body feels that way, panic might come on a little sooner than you might have otherwise thought. And so it's pretty quick to panic mode, because if you've ever felt bad, real bad, and kind of wondered what it would be like to get worse, it's a lot like that. It's a lot like that, where you feel as bad as you've ever felt, but the speed at which it's deteriorating is so rapid that it's obvious it's going to keep getting worse, but you have no idea what worse than that feels like. It's a lot like that. It's a lot like that. And I suppose I'm fortunate to be able to have the wherewithal to talk about it during it, because it's pretty limiting as far as how you can think. You really can't cousin Justin used to say you can't think beyond your nose in that state, and that's a pretty good analogy. It's that where it's like where your body ends is where your consciousness ends. Is I suppose the not funny way to talk about it. Like that is a perfect representation, but it's that you're so uncomfortable that nothing else could possibly exist because it. I suppose your body's on an alarm system or a high alert. That who could possibly give a fuck about anything else in the world if this if you feel this way. And so it's pretty hard to think beyond yourself and your own self-care, like almost for the whole process, but especially at this point. And then for those around you, how the fuck are they supposed to deal with that? How is somebody who's never experienced anything like this supposed to help somebody who feels this way? It's impossible. And I suppose, yes, I have insurance. No, I'm not going to treatment. And it's not a weird anti-Western medicine thing in a sense. It's not that. It's not only that, I should say. There's a little bit of that in there. They're great for emergencies. They're great for trauma. But something like this, through a combination of stigma and not really feeling that treatment for important things that are not acute, like a serious injury, treatment for those sorts of things like depression and anxiety and such, they don't really, they're so bad at it. Obviously, every now and then somebody's good, but they're so bad at helping for that and being sensitive to the needs of somebody in an extremely fragile state of mind. And that sounds like a horrible place to have an experience like this. And so if they could make it better, that'd be great. And it's like you pay hundreds of dollars a month for what would be the bare minimum of care that couldn't be called neglect. The standard of care is the bare minimum of care that doesn't qualify for neglect. It's the stupidest shit ever, and we've all been convinced. And I take it when nobody's been convinced it's worth a shit. But we have been convinced it's the best we're gonna get. So I suppose that makes it clear enough. Why I don't go there. I'm partly just being foolish, but I believe all that. So, like, I've had, I don't know, 9 different doctors in 5 years of having insurance, and I've met 2 of them, and they stopped my medication arbitrarily, and they don't know almost any of what they're talking about when it comes to relating as a person who has experienced what the clients come in with. It's a weird conundrum to, obviously sometimes they've experienced what their clients experience, and that sure helps, but you're just talking at a person like, oh, you got a thing? Let me put this thing on it. Like, it's almost always psychological, and you're not equipped for that, fucko. I can see your problems through your stupid shirt and your 90-hour work weeks and your 40-hour shifts. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. You're in no position to help anyone, and you live your life like a maniac. Get somebody to understand humans on a human level, not from a book learning level, and then see if you can take it from there. Oh shit, awesome. I'll take a fucking shaman over a doctor any day, even they talked in some fucking other language. I'm like, well, this dude's fucking seen some shit, so let's take a cup of what he's got and see how it goes. It might be so terrible that all it does is put your life in perspective, and the doctor would be like, I don't know, you ever have antibiotics or antidepressants? It's probably that. Do you eat fast food 9 meals a day? You do? Oh, no, it's probably not a factor. Like, fuck me. So that's why I don't go there. rant over. But this is the most uncomfortable I have ever felt in my entire life, and it sure helps to at least be able to talk about it. It seems to help a little, surprisingly. And so I suppose I'm grateful just to be able to do it, because it's funny to still be able to keep my sense of humor through such a painful experience, but at the same time, it's kind of the only thing that gets me through. It's the most fucking uncomfortable. And I've never detoxed from other drugs. I know that there's things like even alcohol that, if unassisted, you'll fucking die. I'm not a moron. I'm sure there's worse things. My worst thing. So fuck yourself. Of course there's worse things. Everything that you do, somebody's had it worse. It's no argument. Go eat a dick. Yeah, this is a fucking nightmare. And I have Jessica with me, and thank fucking God for that. Being able to receive help and have somebody look at you at your just most pitiful in every way, shape, and form. It is so fucking brutal. For fuck's sake. It's so fucking brutal. Oh my God. And she does it. Oh. And she does it so gracefully. It's so fucking pathetic. And she does it so gracefully. Without a worry in the world. The only worry always comes from this side. Alright. I'm going to take a break for now. That was 12 and a half minutes of... You like that? That's what it looks like, motherfuckers. Don't do it. What a bummer, man. So yeah, 12 and a half minutes. We'll take a fucking break.